If you're over 60, this tiny habit could be destroying your heart. What if the number you saw on your blood pressure monitor this morning was your only warning before a stroke? Imagine this: you feel fine, no pain, no dizziness, but then your vision blurs, you stumble, and just like that, everything changes. This is how high blood pressure steals lives quietly, slowly, until it explodes without mercy. Most people don't realize it's not just about a number. It's about the fear of losing control, the fear of becoming dependent, the fear of being one fall, one ambulance ride away from losing your independence forever. If you're over 60, this message is for you. You deserve to feel safe in your own body, to understand what those numbers truly mean, and to take real, calm control of your health without fear, without confusion. In this video, I'm not just giving you facts. I'm giving you clarity, confidence, and practical tools that truly work. We'll break down the myths, reveal the early warning signs, and share daily habits that protect your heart and brain starting today. If that's something you want, I invite you to subscribe now. This channel is built for you because aging should never mean giving up control. 1. The hidden problem: why blood pressure isn't just a number. Most people believe that if they feel fine, their health must be fine too. But here's the hard truth: high blood pressure doesn't wait until you're dizzy or in pain to do its damage. It works in silence, in the background, until one day it's too late to reverse. In fact, nearly 1 in 3 American adults has high blood pressure, and many don't even know it. According to the CDC, about 45% of U.S. adults have hypertension, yet only 1 in 4 has it under control. The most chilling part: many of them report feeling totally normal until they suffer a heart attack, a stroke, or sudden kidney failure. You might think of blood pressure as a simple number, something you jot down after breakfast or during your doctor's visit. But that number tells a story of how hard your heart has to work to push blood through your arteries. And when the pressure stays high for too long, your arteries start to stiffen and narrow. This means less blood and less oxygen reaches your brain, your kidneys, your eyes, and your heart muscle itself. A study published in The Lancet found that for every 20-point increase in systolic pressure above 115 millimeters per mercury, the risk of heart disease doubles. Not gradually, doubles. That means if your top number is 155, your risk is 4 times higher than someone whose reading is 115. And the risk isn't just physical, it's emotional. 2, because with every passing year, the fear of becoming dependent, of needing help to stand or walk or even remember your own name, becomes more real. One of my own clients, a retired teacher named Barbara, was active, sharp, and full of life. She ignored her mildly elevated readings because, in her words, "I felt fine." Then one morning, she had trouble finding words. Her husband noticed her face drooping. By the time they reached the ER, the stroke had already damaged parts of her speech center. She recovered, but with effort. Her story isn't rare. It's a pattern. This section matters because it lays the foundation for what's next. Knowing how to correctly measure your blood pressure isn't just a formality, it's a survival skill. Because the most dangerous thing about high blood pressure is not the condition itself, but how easily it's ignored until damage is irreversible. So before we dive into techniques and solutions, let's ask the right question. Not what's my number today, but what's my trend, my pattern, my real risk? And how do I read the signs before they show up in the emergency room? In the next section, we'll talk about the most common mistakes seniors make when checking their blood pressure at home, and why those mistakes can be the difference between peace of mind and panic. Because unless you're measuring correctly, your numbers may be lying to you. Let's make sure they don't. 2. The 7 deadly mistakes seniors make when checking blood pressure at home. If high blood pressure is so dangerous, yet so silent, then checking it regularly at home seems like the obvious answer. And it is if done right. But here's where many people stumble. The way most of us check blood pressure at home is flawed. And that flaw doesn't just lead to confusion. It can lead to misdiagnosis, unnecessary medications, and even panic that sends you to the ER when it's not actually needed. Let's begin with the most common mistake: measuring at the wrong moment. If you take your reading right after climbing the stairs, during an argument, or while watching the news, your numbers are almost guaranteed to spike. One study from the American Heart Association showed that physical movement, emotional stress, or even talking during a reading can raise systolic pressure by 10 to 20 points. That's enough to make someone believe they're in a hypertensive crisis when they're not. Second, posture matters more than people think. If you're slouched in a chair with your legs crossed or your arm dangling below heart level, your reading can jump falsely. Blood pressure is incredibly sensitive to body position. According to a Harvard Health study, improper positioning can add 5 to 15 points to your reading. Imagine how that skews your perception day after day. Third, using wrist monitors. They're small, convenient, and often wrong. Most wrist monitors are extremely sensitive to placement and body movement, leading to unreliable results. Clinical guidelines still recommend upper arm cuffs as the gold standard for home monitoring. If you're going to invest in your health, a validated upper arm monitor is the best place to start. Another common error: talking during the measurement. Even light conversation can trigger a sympathetic response that raises your heart rate and blood pressure. In fact, research has shown that speaking during a BP check can increase systolic readings by an average of 7 points. Multiply that over a week's worth of readings, and you might wrongly assume your condition is out of control. And then there's the emotional component. Many seniors check their pressure precisely when they're feeling anxious. It's human nature. You feel tightness in your chest, or you get nervous watching the evening news. So you check your numbers and naturally, they're high. This creates a feedback loop. Stress raises BP, which raises worry, which raises BP again. I've seen this in my own practice too often. One patient, Mr. Thomas Maurer, measured his pressure 6 times a day. He kept a notebook full of numbers, but no peace of mind. Once we corrected his technique and frequency, not only did his numbers improve, so did his sleep. Speaking of frequency checking, too often is a mistake in itself. Unless your doctor advises otherwise, measuring twice daily, once in the morning before food or meds, and once before bed is sufficient. Take 2 readings at each time and average them. Do this for a week and then share the data with your provider. That gives a far more accurate view than reacting to a single high reading. And finally, and consistency is key. Choose one arm, ideally your non-dominant arm, and stick with it. Switching back and forth introduces variables that make it harder to track progress over time. If all of this sounds overwhelming, take a breath. You're not alone in this. These mistakes are common, but they're easy to fix. And once corrected, the numbers you see will finally start to make sense. Next, we're going to answer the question that haunts so many: when should I actually worry? Let's walk through the signs that truly signal an emergency and the ones that don't. Knowing the difference can save your life and protect your peace of mind. 3. When should you worry? The emergency signs you must never ignore. After learning how easily blood pressure readings can be skewed by simple errors, many people swing in the opposite direction. They stop trusting their monitors at all. But ignoring a dangerously high number can be just as harmful as overreacting to a false spike. The key is learning to read both the numbers and the context around them. Let's start with the threshold that demands immediate attention: a reading of 180, 120 or higher, especially if it comes with symptoms. These include sudden chest pain, severe headache, vision changes, shortness of breath, confusion, or numbness on one side of the body. This constellation of symptoms suggests a hypertensive crisis, a situation where dangerously high blood pressure is causing real-time damage to vital organs. According to the American College of Cardiology, hypertensive emergencies account for over 1.2 million ER visits annually in the U.S., and time is critical in preventing permanent damage or death. On the other hand, if your monitor reads 160/90 or even 170/95 but you feel completely fine, your next move should not be panic. It should be pause. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, wait 5 full minutes, then take another reading. In many cases, you'll see that number drop by 10, 15, even 20 points. That's not a coincidence. It's your nervous system settling down. I've had patients call me in tears over a single high reading, only to find their average pressure over the week is completely within range. It's also important to remember that blood pressure fluctuates throughout the day. It can rise when you're active, stressed, or even excited. This is called situational hypertension. And while it shouldn't be ignored, it doesn't mean you're having a medical emergency. One study published in the Journal of Clinical Hypertension found that 15% of patients diagnosed with high BP in the clinic actually had normal pressure at home, a condition known as white coat hypertension. What matters most is your resting blood pressure, what it looks like when you're calm, seated, and not under stress. That's why we emphasize measurement technique in the previous section. Without accurate readings, you're reacting to noise instead of real danger. Now let's talk about a trap I see all the time, overcorrecting. People see one high number and immediately take an extra dose of medication or drive to the hospital. But if that spike was due to emotional stress or movement, the sudden medication can drop your pressure too low, leading to dizziness, falls, or even fainting. A better approach is to assess the pattern, not the moment. So, when should you worry if your pressure is over 180, 120, and you have serious symptoms? Don't wait. Call emergency services. But if your numbers are moderately elevated and you feel okay, your best bet is rest, hydration, and repeating the measurement in a calm environment. If the numbers remain high over several days, that's the time to contact your doctor, not the ER. This kind of self-awareness is a powerful tool. It prevents unnecessary panic, over-medication, and expensive hospital visits. But it also ensures that you don't miss the signs of real danger when they arise. Next, we're going to explore something even more critical: how your daily choices, what you eat, how you move, and how you manage stress can either worsen or transform your blood pressure over time. Because while accurate readings tell you what's happening now, your habits determine what happens next. 4. Natural blood pressure control: how your lifestyle can heal or harm you. By now, we've uncovered that accurate readings and proper interpretation are essential to avoiding unnecessary fear or neglect. But even when we know our numbers and understand what they mean, there's still one core truth left. High blood pressure is not just a condition to manage, it's a condition we can influence. And one of the most powerful tools we have isn't found in a pill bottle, but in our daily choices. Let's start with salt. Excess sodium is one of the leading contributors to elevated blood pressure, yet it hides in places most people never suspect. According to the CDC, over 70% of the sodium in the average American diet comes not from the salt shaker, but from processed and restaurant foods. One slice of frozen pizza can contain over 1,000 milligrams of sodium. A bowl of canned soup, another 800 milligrams. The American Heart Association recommends staying below 1,500, 2 pound, and 300 milligrams daily, but most adults consume nearly double that. It's not just about saltiness, it's about overload. When there's too much sodium in the blood, it pulls water into your bloodstream, increasing blood volume and, therefore, blood pressure. It also damages the lining of arteries, making them less flexible. The result: a harder workload for your heart and a higher risk of stroke and heart disease. But here's the good news. Potassium is sodium's natural counterbalance. It helps the kidneys excrete excess sodium and relaxes blood vessel walls. Foods like spinach, sweet potatoes, bananas, avocados, beans, and yogurt are naturally rich in potassium. In one landmark, DASH dietary approaches to stop hypertension, trial funded by the National Institutes of Health, participants who increased their potassium intake while reducing sodium saw an average systolic blood pressure drop of 8 to 14 points in just a few weeks. Lifestyle plays just as big a role. Carrying extra weight puts added strain on your heart. Studies show that losing even 5 to 10% of body weight can significantly reduce both systolic and diastolic readings. Physical activity, especially walking, acts like medicine for your arteries. Aim for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. It doesn't have to be intense. A brisk walk around the neighborhood or a gentle swim at the community center is enough to create lasting change. Stress is another silent contributor. When you're under chronic stress, your body floods with hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which constrict your blood vessels and elevate pressure. It's not just about the big stressors like financial worries or family illness. It's the subtle, daily undercurrents of anxiety that wear us down. Simple habits like deep breathing, prayer, or mindful movement have been shown to lower blood pressure naturally by activating the parasympathetic nervous system. Even sleep has an effect. Poor sleep or undiagnosed sleep apnea can keep blood pressure elevated during the night, robbing the body of its natural recovery period. A study in hypertension found that adults who slept fewer than 6 hours per night were at significantly higher risk of developing high blood pressure. Good sleep hygiene, consistent bedtimes, a cool, dark room, avoiding screens late at night makes a measurable difference. So yes, the food on your plate, the steps you take each day, the way you manage tension, and even how well you sleep, all of it becomes part of your blood pressure story. And unlike age or genetics, these are things you can control. In the next section, we'll go deeper into the small daily habits, some as simple as a glass of water or 5 minutes of quiet that can compound over time to protect your arteries and restore balance. Because when it comes to blood pressure, small doesn't mean weak, it means sustainable. And sustainability is where healing begins. 5 small habits, big impact daily routines that lower BP. The biggest breakthroughs in blood pressure control often come from the smallest changes. You don't need a radical lifestyle overhaul, just consistent habits that nudge your body back into balance. Start with hydration. Dehydration thickens the blood and narrows your vessels. Raising your pressure, aim for at least 6 to 8 cups of water daily, more in hot weather or if you're active. A well-hydrated system allows the heart to pump more efficiently with less strain. Next, breathing. A simple 4 to 4 to 6 technique, inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 6, can quickly calm your nervous system. Just 5 minutes a day can reduce both stress and systolic blood pressure. According to a UCLA clinical study, sleep is another underrated weapon. Poor sleep, especially due to undiagnosed apnea, keeps blood pressure elevated through the night. Make your bedroom a sanctuary, no screens, cool temperature, and a regular bedtime. Even improving your sleep by an hour can lower risk significantly. And don't forget movement. It's not just formal workouts that matter. Standing every 30-60 minutes, stretching, walking during phone calls, these micro movements improve blood flow and reduce stiffness in arteries over time. These are not big, flashy changes, but over weeks and months, they add up to lasting results. Next, let's briefly tackle the truth and hype around blood pressure supplements. 6 of supplements, myths and misunderstandings. Many people reach for supplements hoping for a quick fix, but which ones actually work and which are just clever marketing? Magnesium is backed by strong evidence. It helps relax blood vessel walls and is especially effective for those deficient due to poor diet. A meta-analysis in hypertension found that taking magnesium for just 3 months lowered systolic BP by about 4 points. Garlic extract is another promising option. Standardized allicin supplements have shown modest benefits in trials, particularly in people with mild to moderate hypertension. CoQ10, an antioxidant that supports cellular energy in the heart, has been linked to lower diastolic pressure, but only when taken consistently over months. But remember, no supplement replaces lifestyle change or medical care. And natural doesn't always mean safe. Some herbs can interact with medications or worsen other health conditions. The key is to talk with your doctor before starting any supplement. Use them to support, not substitute the foundational habits you're building. In the next part, we'll confront the myths that keep blood pressure dangerously misunderstood. 7. The cost of believing myths. Some of the most dangerous beliefs around blood pressure sound harmless at first, but they quietly sabotage your health. I feel fine, so I must be fine. False. Hypertension is often symptomless until damage is done. Waiting for warning signs can mean waiting too long. My readings are normal now, so I can stop my meds. That's like quitting a seatbelt because you haven't had a crash. Medications control, not cure hypertension. Never stop without medical supervision. I'm too young to worry. Not anymore. Sedentary lifestyles and processed diets have led to a spike in younger adults developing high blood pressure earlier than ever. Early action, Josh, long-term protection. I'll just use natural remedies instead. While powerful natural methods require time, consistency, and sometimes backup from medication, a holistic plan doesn't mean ignoring your doctor. It means partnering with them. Believing these myths leads to delayed care, missed warning signs, and tragic outcomes. But now you know better. And in the final section, we'll bring everything together and show you how to take the first step toward lasting control. You've just taken in a lot, but what you now hold is more than information. It's a new way of seeing your health, your choices, and your power. High blood pressure isn't the enemy. The real enemy is not knowing how to respond to it. And today, you've learned how. You've learned the truth about false spikes and true emergencies. You've seen how daily routines, hydration, sleep, breathing, movement carry more power than you ever imagined. You've learned that food isn't just fuel, it's medicine. That blood pressure readings are not snapshots, but signals, and that you are not helpless. You are more than your age, more than a diagnosis. You are capable of building strength, of making change, of protecting your independence with the quiet power of consistency, not all at once, just one small step at a time. So here's what I'd love for you to do. Scroll down and share one thing you're going to change starting today. Maybe it's drinking more water. Maybe it's measuring your blood pressure the right way. Maybe it's just taking a walk after dinner. Your commitment might be exactly what someone else needs to read. And if this video gave you clarity, hope, or confidence, consider subscribing. This channel is here for you every week with guidance you can trust, strategies that work, and encouragement when you need it most. You don't have to do this alone. You don't have to get everything perfect. You just have to begin. One habit, one moment, one day at a time. Stay strong, stay informed, and above all, stay in motion. I'll see you in the next video.